Hi art lovers, I'm Sonia Peterson and welcome to Sonia's Art Room. Today I'm sharing a time-lapse drawing of a family-owned business using graphite pencils on paper. I have already completed the very light pencil blocking. I did a few practice sketches on other paper, and here I have my base sketch using a very light hand with an H pencil. I don't press hard enough to dent the paper, and then it's very easy to erase when I go back and correct with the finer drawing lines. As you can see, I start on the left of the page. I do this with almost every drawing. Why do I start on the left? Well, because I'm right-handed, and it's better not to be dragging my hand over so much pencil. Later, you will see that I have quite a lot of graphite on this page, and it's really prone to smudging for sure. So I do what I can to minimize smudging, and that includes working from left to right, and I also use glassine paper to rest my hand on. That is this shiny paper that you see here on my drawing. It's amazing stuff, and I have a video going into more detail on the glassine that I use. I'm still figuring out this drawing and warming up to my pencils. You know, some pencils feel really perfect for a drawing, and some just, don't want to cooperate. Some feel a little harsher than others. Some feel crisper than others. So I'm still working out which pencils are going to work for this drawing. And I'm kind of procrastinating doing the clock face, which once I start that clock face, I have one try. If I mess up those numbers, I really will probably have to restart this whole drawing. So as you can see, I'm working on the landscape, and I'm not quite feeling brave enough yet. So I'm actually going to move on over to the right and start on a lovely little tree, which is quite soothing for me to draw. And it gives me a minute to regroup while I figure out how I want to do that clock face. I'm also pretty excited to be working on the brick front of this store because I know exactly how I want to make the strokes. I've just worked on so many brick buildings. So for this tiny little surface area, I'm actually going to use very short strokes, varying between light and dark. And if you draw them in the direction of the building's perspective, it just really brings that realistic detail to life. So finally, I've decided that I'm going to go back to the clock face shortly, and I'm going to use my drafting pencil because it's just a really super sharp, clean tip. Here's a trick that I recommend. You put the 4 numbers in place first, and then I know the spacing that I have for the rest of the numbers, and it also lets me keep them symmetrical. Whew. Okay, so I use a clear, straight edge a lot when I'm drawing architecture. It helps me be more accurate, and it helps me keep the drawing clean. I frequently go over these lines by hand again later as I continue to build the shadows and soften those lines a little bit. I want crisp lines, but I don't want harsh lines. There's a fine line there. You'll notice that I have also been resting my hand on the straight edge. It works really great to protect the drawing. And I just would like to mention that I do wash my straight edge with soap and water, and I make sure it's totally dry before I use it on a new drawing. I really don't want to accidentally drag some other material from another drawing onto this paper. That would just totally be a disaster. Notice that when I added the roof tile that I used a similar textured stroke, which allows me to indicate roof tiles without having to draw every one, since this is kind of a smaller drawing. This storefront detail, I wanted to have enough detail that it was very recognizable, but not take away from the rest of the drawing. And I really was so excited to work on these shopping carts, which I'm getting ready to draw. I was nervous to do them, but very excited to do them. And what I did was I treated them as a single shape. So instead of working on, 15 shopping carts, it is literally one shape that has all of these little triangles in it, and then all of these little straight lines, and all these little matching sort of semi-triangles. And you'll see I come back in indicating a little bit of pencil detail, and then I will top that off with a nice shading effect. And I'm really happy with how the shopping carts turn out on such a small scale here. And then finally, I'm going to be moving over to the sign, which is probably the most important part for this drawing. And it is, of course, the final touch. I cannot wait for this family to take a look at this drawing. And there we go. I'm really super happy with it. So thanks so much for joining me today. I really love receiving your questions. Please feel free to leave your questions in the comments below or contact me on my website at artworkbysonya.com. If you like this video, please hit the like button and be sure to hit the subscribe button to catch all of my new video and artwork inspirations. See you next time, art lovers.